It's usually one of the first questions that comes up. So, oh, so what do you do? Like, well, I have 3 jobs on my CV at the moment. But what I do is a bit of everything. There's not a day goes by when I don't use some of the techniques that I learnt in telesales, because what you're learning is how to be persuasive. I was brought up very, very political. I was pushed around in my pushchair delivering leaflets. My mum took me to Greenham Common when I was 8. Very formative experience. I just made a decision to be radically open. Maybe in some ways my honesty is a defence mechanism. Like, what the hell are you going to say about me that I haven't said about myself?
Everything that is interesting is 90% boring.
When I was a kid, I really, really wanted to be an actress. The whole time growing up, that was what I was going to do. I was going to be an actress. I've always had that kind of strong desire to perform and communicate. That is the flyer for my band. Before I went to university, I worked in telesales, selling chemical cleaners and degreasers. Then after university, I got a job working for the local paper, the Kent Messenger, and I did telesales there. My boss said, just do it for a couple of months until you work out what you want to do with your life. And I ended up there for 3 years. We used to try and just get people talking about what interested them. And actually, that's what political people are really bad at. Getting the people you're trying to persuade to talk about themselves and what they're interested in, and then you can find an in, rather than just blasting them with all the things that you care about. Telesales is not a great job. It's a hard grind. One of the things that they taught us was every no brings you closer to a yes. And it just teaches you to have a really thick skin, which later in life as a woman on social media, very helpful. My political values have been part of me all my life. I was in the paper aged 2 weeks old as the newest Labour Party member, because my dad was quite good at working the local press when he was a Labour Party organiser. So it was always part of who I was, what I was interested in doing and being. But I didn't really know how to do anything about that. I used to want to be an MP. I had like an MP mentor, and I did Labour Women's Network training and things like that. And right up until 2013, I was thinking about running for an unwinnable. The more I look at MPs and their lives, the less I want to do it. And I've got some great friends who are MPs, but my God, it's an awful life. I get to say what I think. They never get to say what they think. The tribal nature of politics means that you're supposed to go along with your gang rather than your gut. I'm just as willing to say when people who are my gang get things wrong. And I will make a decision on an issue depending on what I think about the issue rather than who is promoting it either way. And lots of people don't do that. I've come to a space where I'm really comfortable writing about sex and mental health and weight issues. And I feel like in some ways that's kind of part of my approach to feminism, I guess. I am all the facets of woman, good and bad. If we are to understand women as fully faceted human beings, that means that they can be bastards too. I try to be really honest about my flaws, maybe even too honest. And I think part of that comes from having grown up really, really fat. One of the reasons I'm funny is that you just have to get the joke in first. You know, I can be very insecure, despite the fact that I come across as really confident, necky, brassy, whatever. Sometimes that's a front, but you know what? Again, it's like going back to the telesales thing, fake it. No one will know. There are also slightly more controversial decisions in the honours. I strongly suspect that Labour Twitter is going to spend the day tearing itself to pieces over whether Tony Blair should have got a knighthood. But then that's just another day on Labour Twitter. I'm very externally validated. So I like it when people go, oh my God, this is amazing. You've done such a brilliant thing, blah, 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 blah. I mean, who doesn't like that, really, let's be honest. But I like it when I do something that I feel really proud of myself, and that's the piece that gets picked up. And I really feel like I've got to the nub of something. I like the, oh, I agree with you, you're great, you're interesting. But actually, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way, is how I really know that I'm good at my job. They always say this when you're freelancing, get dressed. It's actually true. Get up, get a shower, get breakfast. I get out of bed to work. And given that I've had some depression issues, some mental health issues, particularly during the pandemic, I think that's quite important because there were times where I wasn't getting out of bed.
How do you improve?
Keep doing it. Do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. I'm a much better writer now than I was 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, I was a much better writer than I was 5 years before that. I do think that I'm probably a better writer from having tried different mediums and writing about different things. I think if I just wrote about politics, I'd just write the same stuff over and over again. It'd be really boring. Going off and writing about dating whilst fat, or not having babies, or a play about older people, just keeps you fresh, keeps you interesting, gives you an edge, and gives you different ways of thinking. Blank sheets of paper are horrible. I hate a blank sheet of paper. And quite often what I'll do is just bash out the first 100 words of a 600-700 word article. Just getting some words down and then going, you know, I can do this. If something's making you deeply unhappy, however difficult it is financially, try to leave. It is never worth your time to be that unhappy. That's not to say that you have to adore every second of every job you do, because nobody's ever going to have that, even if they have the job of their dreams. There are times when you have to do the admin. There are times when you have to bite your tongue. Even I have to bite my tongue occasionally. One of the things I decided was that I wanted to keep constantly challenging myself. So over the years, I've done things like I did stand-up comedy, a day learning to be a TV presenter just because I thought that would be fun. I did a couple of playwriting courses. Very soon I started learning ballroom dancing. Think about who you want to be. Don't just think about what you want to do, but who do you want to be? And then be that as much as you can. I think I decided a long time ago to really just be myself to the max. As I've said to you several times, I'm Marmite because I'm opinionated and because I've decided to be myself as much as I want to be. And partly because I realised a long time ago that I'm not cool and I don't care. That doesn't mean you have to be like me. It means you have to be like you. I haven't seen some of these for years. Why was I allowed to do that to my hair?